One person can make a difference, and everyone should try. Do not pray for easy lives, pray to be stronger men. We cannot negotiate with people who say what's mine is mine and what's yours is negotiable. If not us, who? If not now, when? I'm an idealist without illusions. Those who dare to fail miserably can achieve greatly. The ignorance of one voter in a democracy impairs the security of all. A child miseducated is a child lost. Those who foolishly sought power by riding the back of the tiger ended up inside. If freedom is to survive and prosper, it will require the sacrifice, the effort, and the thoughtful attention of every citizen. The stories of past courage can teach, they can offer hope, they can provide inspiration, but they cannot supply courage itself. For this each man must look into his own soul. A man does what he must, in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers and pressures, and that is the basis of all human morality. Let us not emphasize all on which we differ, but all we have in common. Let us consider not what we fear separately, but what we share together. Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty. United there is little we cannot do, in a host of cooperative ventures. Divided there is little we can do, for we dare not meet a powerful challenge at odds and split asunder. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. So let us begin anew, remembering on both sides that civility is not a sign of weakness, and sincerity is always subject to proof. Let us never negotiate out of fear, but let us never fear to negotiate. My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. If more politicians knew poetry, and more poets knew politics, I am convinced the world would be a little better place in which to live. Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or the present are certain to miss the future. Children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. The success of this government, and thus the success of our nation, depends in the last analysis upon the quality of our career services. War will exist until that distant day when the conscientious objector enjoys the same reputation and prestige that the warrior does today. In the Chinese language, the word crisis is composed of two characters, one representing danger and the other opportunity. Rising tide lifts all boats. We can say with some assurance that, although children may be the victims of fate, they will not be the victims of our neglect. We must never forget that art is not a form of propaganda, it is a form of truth. The time to repair the roof is when the sun is shining, by filling 3 basic gaps in our anti-recession protection. In serving his vision of the truth, the artist best serves his nation. This country cannot afford to be materially rich and spiritually poor. We celebrate the past to awaken the future. A nation reveals itself not only by the men it produces, but also by the men it honors, the men it remembers. A man may die, nations may rise and fall, but an idea lives on. We have become more and more not a nation of athletes, but a nation of spectators. I have a nice home, the office is close by, and the pay is good. We must think and act not only for the moment, but for our time. Dante once said that the hottest places in hell are reserved for those who in periods of moral crisis maintain their neutrality. This nation has tossed its cap over the wall of space, and we have no choice but to follow it. Forgive your enemies, but never forget their names. The rights of every man are diminished when the rights of one man are threatened. We must find time to stop and thank the people who make a difference in our lives. Those who make peaceful revolution impossible will make violent revolution inevitable. Conformity is the jailer of freedom and the enemy of growth. As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. Victory has 100 fathers and defeat is an orphan. If a free society cannot help the many who are poor, it cannot save the few who are rich. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. Libraries should be open to all, except the censor. Liberty without learning is always in peril, and learning without liberty is always in vain. Mankind must put an end to war, or war will put an end to mankind. A man does what he must, in spite of personal consequences, in spite of obstacles and dangers, and pressures, and that is the basis of all human morality. Art is the great democrat, calling forth creative genius from every sector of society, disregarding race or religion or wealth or color. So, let us not be blind to our differences, but let us also direct attention to our common interests and to the means by which those differences can be resolved. The supreme reality of our time is the vulnerability of our planet.